reset time. The underground. And we're back at it. Once again. What's going on, everybody? Get a mic check. Think E fits. The judge with us. Flip. Geo, good to see everybody. Much love to all the mods. Sheepdog in the house. Yeah, got plenty to cover here tonight, as always. Not lacking any action, that's for sure. And it looks like the video has a blue banner. It seems like all I gotta do is put Trump's name, or mention Trump's name at all, and they throw this election banner up, so to speak. You may see it below the video here on YouTube. But that's just how it goes over here, I guess. I feel like it's a form of soft censorship because I feel like anytime you get hit with one of the banners, it's not good. Like, what's usually next is like, I don't know. There's just no telling these days. Anyhow, I want to thank everybody out there that shares the stream. Brother Tooch, Tacos, Buddy Ross, thank you. Much appreciated. To the fullest. If you guys got anything you want to get to me, Dabu7@yahoo.com. Mr. TF, welcome to the underground. The newest member. Hopkinson in the house. See you. T. Kerr, Loudon, Jay with us. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Man, I talked to Tacos. Was chatting with him in one of our chats, and they're getting pounded with snow. So anybody that's out in that area, winter has begun, no doubt. I mean, it was a ton, but I guess you get that up there in Colorado. It's still like 60s today here, so I ain't complaining. If you guys missed it, I want to start off here with a heads up to a story here that I put out about these monkeys that went missing. John says, "What's Alfie hoax?" Well, we're gonna get to that. But these monkeys went missing. I dropped a video on it to try to raise awareness. Because anytime you got something like this going down, you've got test monkeys running around. That's not good, period. Some people are trying to soften it up and be like, oh, they weren't testing anything crazy on them. It wasn't a holding facility like that. And it's like, what? What? Like, who are you? And like, why are you here like making obvious lies? Because I look down all kinds of different avenues and different links and even the videos. And these were research monkeys, no doubt. They were doing research on brain stuff with them. Things to do with the brain. Also HIV and all this other stuff. So they tell me they weren't being used. Yeah, they were. And we've yet to hear that they've caught any of them. They all got away. They hadn't caught a single one. So this is 43. This is in South Carolina. You may recall a couple years ago, something similar happened. A truck turned over in PA, and monkeys got loose. And matter of fact, one of those monkeys ran up and bit a lady, and like we never heard about her again after that. Like, for real. Yeah, it's one of them situations when you got 43 monkeys that can be carrying anything. You got to watch out. They can attack your animals, your dogs, cats. They can break into your home. they apparently were able to break out of their enclosures. And some people are like, man, there couldn't have been this many in one enclosure. They should have been kept in like separate cages and all this other stuff. Who knows at this point? We do know is that they're out there on the run. There's probably a majority of them together. They're probably running together, I would think, or close to one another in a pack, wherever they're at. But I don't know. Will this become 28 days later? I don't know. Maybe it's happening out there somewhere right now. Horror story unfolding. These monkeys are gnawing on someone. They're turning into a zombie. And they're full of rage. I doubt that, but anything's possible. They could be carrying monkeypox. Anything. I mean, they are monkeys. They could be carrying anything, to be honest with you. We're all sitting around waiting for the next scam to hit us, for them to try to lock us down. Who knows what it'd be? To be honest, I'm just saying, if you're down in the Carolinas and you see some monkeys running across the road, I wouldn't stop, try to feed them or anything like that. I'd just keep on pushing. It's interesting because down there, this is in Yemassee, is how you say it? Yemassee in South Carolina, Beaufort County. There's a monkey island that's down there, where they have a ton of monkeys on these islands as well. But this is Alpha Genesis, the name of the place. So if you hear me mention the Alpha Genesis monkeys, from here on out, that's what I'm referring to. They say that if you see one of these monkeys that are on the loose, make sure to dial 911 and get local authorities on the scene. They say that they're setting traps and that they have thermal imaging that they're trying to use to capture them. But somebody, if you're after listening, somebody tagged me on my X when I posted this with a little clip. It was a 2-minute clip. It was like the opening scene from 28 Days Later. And I had seen it in a long time. It just got me thinking how it was a classic, 28 Days Later. I don't know. Until they find them, I guess anything's possible. And I don't want to see no one get attacked by these things anyway. So just a heads up, you never know what they could say from here. It looks like gold has took a dip on the charts. And in fact, let me go over here, pull this up real quick. Because I think, oh yeah. I would say it's opportunity time. Everyone's doing this, doing that, not paying attention. If you see a dip hitting gold, like I said, watch it. So let's take it back 7 days. See, it dropped off almost $80, almost $100 on this dip already. I'm looking at the 25 level, 26, 25 level. If it continues to drop it all down to there, I'd be buying. I'd be buying the dip. If you've been looking to try to get in, Arma, thank you for the coffee. Much love. Yeah, it is odd. But I tell you that when I see these dips open up, I'll let you know. You definitely don't want to be buying the tips. This isn't... This is possibly the first leg down. When I watch charts, I see that support here is at like at 25, 26. It could go down further is what I'm saying, if you're looking for an entry. But with gold and the tear that it's on, all it could take is one big military move, which is destined to happen, and this thing's going to shift back north. But we got some things to talk about here dealing with the global scene. Gold's being brought up more and more. And the former economic advisor to Trump's last administration has been bringing this up and bringing it up and bringing it up to his administration. Like, we need to go to gold. Yeah, and thank you for the coffee, Rob, in the comment. But this time, instead of doing something like we had going on prior, where the dollar was backed by gold, they're talking about starting off by backing bonds and saying you got to start somewhere. Maybe we don't just start with backing the dollar, but, and I told you, man, this is something that you must have to do, but the caveat is that they're going to try to confiscate it. There's that potential when you look at history. Especially when you make your moves, make them wise, and just wherever you're storing it, be smart. This is going to go through the roof. I'm still sitting on my evaluation here that by 2030, sometime in 2030, this will be at $20,000. Flirting with it, maybe past it. But what comes with that, though, is that the dollar has to come down. Well, if the dollar starts to come down, they're saying one of the for sure ways to save it is to back it by gold. But not everybody's on board with that. They do say, however, that we've got plenty to do it, and that all the central banks should have it. And it's like, is that the move now? Well, the move, it seems, and this is why the Trump administration is not like jumping all over this. It seems that the move is going to be to try to back something digital with the gold. And that's going to be their like nail in the coffin to try to hammer away a digital currency, say here in the United States and anywhere else that has rejected it thus far. So there's a couple of things that we can bring up right now. Donald Trump just ran this whole thing on doing away with taxes on your overtime. Get to it, big boy. You know, like day one, like everything else. Like all these huge things he said. The people were going to have to hold him to it. Doing away with taxes on tips and all the overtime and stuff like that. That's huge for everyday people. Taxes on Medicare, things of that nature. That's huge. So these are the things that Trump was running on. This is the things that he's going to have to come through on here. Of course, we talked about the tariffs. The whole thing, a tariff this, a tariff that. Everybody knows he's about to drop tariffs on pretty much everybody. It looks like it's changing the dynamics of the world stage. As crazy as it may seem, and as much as we know it is a stage, everything's kind of changing and shifting. Like they're changing, getting ready to change the scenes of everything. They did this last time because Obama went in and it was all hell in Ukraine. As soon as Trump got in there, none of it. It wasn't until Biden got back in there, they fired it back up to what it is today. So does Trump have the power to stop anything? Well, he definitely has the power to cut the money off and then negotiate with the other side. And I'm going to get to some of that here in a bit. But all this affects us economically. And Donald Trump pushed on his ticket that he was going to support stable coins. Okay? And his sons put the Trump name on and behind supporting what they call the world coin. And this is where people start flipping out, like connecting him to like end day stuff and all this other stuff that is about to be pushed here in America. And thank you, Jane, for the super chat. It gets pretty crazy though. It's a real deal. This is why everything shifted to where Bitcoin and everything is pro-Trump. You know, one or the other. When he took the against the CBDC stance, he became the pro-Bitcoin candidate. See what I'm saying? The problem with this is that all of those digital currencies are exactly that. They're digital. And everything digital can be tracked and traced. And you can be fooled and buffaloed and think that there's some crypto out there that they can't see, they can't track or trace, but I've seen them all get popped. And I see them tracking back Bitcoin all the time on people with these hacks. They announce it. And I've told you, I've showed you that the creator of Bitcoin itself is the NSA. And what this creates is they control both avenues. As Joe said when we came in here earlier, when I was firing up the stream, they're coming down both avenues. If you don't want to accept the CBDC, they made sure they had the other way covered. And because of all the pandemonium and everything going on, how bad everything is in life under the Biden regime, everyone just looked past this whole, as long as it wasn't a CBDC, that's all they cared about, it seems. Well, Trump and them are bringing something digital to be tracked. And if anything happens to where the banks get froze or anything like that, where you can't get dollars out of the bank, they're going to come to the rescue. Same concept. Trump bucks, whatever you want to call it. They're now going to have the backing, the apparatus, and the agenda to do it. Do you understand? See? I'm warning you. I've warned you a million times. Whoever it is, however it is, that comes along and tries to force this country, it doesn't matter, into a digital currency. You should have an option. But see, if they back it by gold, it competes all of a sudden with all the rest of the currencies that are digital around the world, specifically BRICS, which was created to be a counterweight to this. As you're going to see, what we've always known as the New World Order, so to speak, it's changing. And all the other countries are acknowledging this, that it's still a new world. Every time it changes, it's new, right? So it's another new world order. And what that means is the way that it's controlled and ran globally. Who dominates the scene at the time. And instead of it being just the United States, it's now shifting to where it's going to be what they call a multipolar world order. And it's happening right now. You can't say, well, don't they usually fight a war to establish that? Well, they have been. Where have you been? It just hasn't been here in your face yet. I got a funny feeling it's about to go there. I don't see how all these millions and millions of people that are about to get rounded up and kicked out of this country are going to go lightly. I see blowback, I see shootouts, I see big events, and it's just getting started. We're not even on Trump's watch yet. We got 2 months to go to get there. That's going to be interesting. I ain't even to all that yet. Let me get out of the economic stuff real quick here. First, though, you should probably know, global food prices reaccelerate for the second month in a row. They say the situation remains sticky. It is elevated. It's spiked up higher than where it's at now, but it looks like it's heading right back up to that spot. Especially if it passes this Arab Spring level here again. Let me look at the RSI here. I don't know, the way they are. as we talked about before, grocery stores don't make a whole lot of money. So when you do what the Biden regime's done here, you start to decimate all those places, all the small markets and all that. And their plan was they wanted to go in and track every bit of it. They wanted to have all the transactions taking place at your local market, your country market, your back road market, where you're getting all your fruits and your veggies and all this other stuff. They want a piece of that. And some people just are never going to play that. They're never going to do that. In some places, you're always going to have cash money, like my state. Like, you can't go to my courthouse and pay for taxes or pay for do anything. You have to have cash money. You can't use card. Cash money. It's it. So that's like versus other places to implement, the card all day, or that don't accept cash. So I'd rather be in a place that is still enforcing it. I don't know. I don't like where we're heading in terms of that, and I've told you the whole time. It's going to take an event. It's going to take a big event, a series of events, or one big event. And it's pretty simple if you ask me. If you really want to implement it, you freeze the money. Or freeze the way people get the money out. Like they can't get it out. And when they can't get it out for a couple weeks, that's all it's really going to take, man. We war gamed this already. It's all it's really going to take. And people will submit. They'll start submitting before that. And when all the government has got to tell them is, look, just download this digital wallet and we'll shoot you the money. We'll get you whatever money's in your account. It'll just be in this digital format. And they're going to eat it up. They won't think twice. They'll eat it up. Like, to the rescue. But they've really just been tricked. And I've told you this over and over and over again. There's really only one way to do it. And I just told you that. Stop, take some time, put some thought into it. How do you trick the masses into this? That's how. You got to freeze up the money flow, how they can get it out first. You got to hold it hostage. And it'll work. It'll work rather quickly. People need to pay bills, pay rent, pay everything. Yeah. And now that I think about it, it may work better under Trump. It may work. The whole move may have worked better for them under Trump because he's got everybody. He's got so many followers right now, following his every move everywhere. That they'll just accept it. Many would just accept it. They won't question anything. They do away with the physical currency. We're in bad shape. I think that, I guess only time will tell. They say that Americans have burned through their pandemic savings. I didn't know that we were supposed to have been saving then. As things were going through the roof and shelves were getting cleared. What they consider to be the savings is gone. And we're in the red now. And I told you that credit card debt is sky high. Record amounts. Dead on everything. The whole country's dead. And even Trump said beforehand, he's inheriting a ticking time bomb. That if this thing comes down on his watch, it's not his fault. He's only got 4 years to try to fix it. But so much damage has been done. They're going to do everything they can, he said. Elon come out and said, no, we're going to pull $2 trillion out of the deficit. And I have to keep repeating this for those that haven't heard it or don't know, because he flat out told everybody that the market's going to take a huge hit as soon as they're in there. I guess anything can happen between now and then. You can keep rising, but when they get in there, it's coming down. And it's going to be by their doing. He said it. I don't know, sometimes try to spoon feed this information to some of these people out here. But it's like, I need to start feeding to you with a slingshot or something because you're just not getting it. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple, though. They've said it clearly. They will be responsible for the market being pulled back. And they also cite pal, the Federal Reserve, he just cut everything again. And Trump and them are like, well, it shouldn't be like that. Like, you shouldn't. They're basically saying that it needs to go back to like normal. Like, you need to like let it stay normal for a little bit instead of keep cutting and cutting. But they did that because inflation was so bad. You got to remember, people couldn't buy a house. The percentage points were so high, it just recently started to come down some. And I don't know where it's going to go from here. Powell did just cut, but again, we're on the Biden regime's watch as they're getting all their money together to send to Ukraine. All right, let me keep this pushing. Got a lot to hit on. I want to make mention here as well, and put it in everyone's minds, that when the last Great Depression hit, it affected the whole world. The next one will be the same when the United States comes down, when the market comes down. When you look at the whole entire globe, our S&P makes up 51% of the entire global market. Okay? That's a power that we hold that no one has been able to eclipse. No one. No Russia, no China. Now, you can see China's there, ex-China, it says. Emerging markets. China's 3%. The rest of developed markets, 30%. The rest of the U.S., 8%. But the S&P alone, in terms of the entire globe, man. So, if it comes down and takes huge hits, it's going to affect everything. We all know it's basically, in my opinion, running toward a blow-off top, which is where, at some point, it may even go parabolic, which is a terrible sign, because it's going to crash hard. Here's an update from my folks in Colorado, or if you plan to go to Colorado. An appeals court revives a Colorado law that bans 18 to 20-year-olds from buying guns, being able to protect themselves, hunt, all these other things. So that's sad. But yeah, that's what just happened in Colorado. I mean, anything could change at any given time, but looking at just the recent election, Colorado going blue, California, all the places that are still leaning on the left and still pushing all their agendas. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That is the Second Amendment. If you're an adult, you should have that right. See, they slide in with this, something this small, and the next thing you know, they push it to 21. Okay? And then they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. That's how these fools do, man. So they did that. I expect to see some crazy things here the last 2 months. This regime is on the clock, and all these greedy fools. Let's just see how much money they try to send to Ukraine and all this other stuff, which should be stopped. But I'm telling you, they're going to do these things. It's like no one's at the helm. Although I will show you Biden here later. This is an interesting talking point, though. For anyone out there that may have land, that may have natural resources, you may have timber, you may have coal, you may have natural gas. If you've got any of these things, the second Trump administration here is about to fire these things back up. And this is crazy, because I told you that at some point someone can come along and they're going to flip the script on their whole climate agenda crap, and they're going to allow the coal to burn, and all these other things, natural gas, and for us to be able to sell it and go that route. Well, what do we have here? They start talking about all this energy. And what's this next one? Duke Energy considers making coal power great again under Trump. Anybody sitting? If this happens, anybody sitting on coal? I told you. I told you. I don't know how many times. Gifts or gimmies people are expecting out there on certain things, but just to be in the possession of some coal seams on the property, this goes into motion, it's gonna go through the roof. And depending on how far they take it, it can change things. Big time. Old coal country spring back to life, start pumping out coal. China is over there gobbling it up, burning more than anyone, and no one's saying a word to them. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're on board with your carbon thing," but they just say it. They just say it. They ain't about it. Go look at the stats. They buy and burn more than anyone, unabated. They just keep on burning it. And there's more of them, way more of them than us here. So we're getting played, and I told you, you should value your natural resources, your God-given gifts. At some point, the table's going to turn. And also, if you're someone that looked into the gasifier, learned how to build one. Yeah, I believe you could buy one out there. There's some places that were building them. But they burn coal, they burn anything, wood, all that. And the gas that it puts out, fume-like gas it puts out, can run a generator. Especially if it's a dual fuel, one that runs gas and propane. You just hook the tube up to it and it runs it. Which is, as long as you keep feeding it, you could have a mountain of it inside of your mountain. And you could feed this thing for the rest of your days. It would power your generator for the rest of your days. Right there. Alone. And some people are doing this. I look to implement it when I can get to it, when I can get to actually building the gasifier. And if I do so, I'm going to share the footage and what it takes with you guys. They do sell books and all that on how to make one. I actually got one. But it's one of those things that you're not going to find it at any ordinary store out here, just like you're not going to find a Tesla power antenna or anything like that, because the government isn't going to let you. They don't want you doing that. But the knowledge is out there. If you want to build these devices and save on energy and power, it is out there. You can use a combination as well. Anyhow, let's look at some of the rest of the market real quick. And I want to say that everything with China is going to affect how things flow from here. How Trump handles China is major here. The shoe retailer Steve Madden is going to slash imports from China 45% now because of everything that's going to go down. This means they're going to have to make the goods here or Mexico, not in China. And the whole idea of all this is to bring everything back here, bring jobs here, to bring manufacturing here. Or you don't have to pay these tariffs, these huge tariffs, if you set up shop here. Matter of fact, we'll give you some extra benefits, tax breaks, blah, 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 if you come back and you set up shop here. Make America Great Again, their whole slogan here. That's the overall outside of it. But when China says F you, we're done. So, look, I find it funny that some of these people like Joe Scarborough, he must have like a maid that or somebody that goes out and stocks all the stuff here. He must, I mean, disconnected with the prices of everything out there. But I thought this is funny because he's trying to talk on a show. Of course, they're left leaning, and it's crazy because you see Micah freeze and correct him, and she has to multiple times correct him on the price of butter. And he's like, "What are you kidding me? Like, is it plated in gold?" And it's like, no, like, dude, like he gets a reality check right there. She's looking around. She's looking at the producers behind the camera and everything. Like, look, like, like should I have said that? But I said it. Like, and she says it multiple times. But just how disconnected he was from the whole thing. Here, I'm gonna play the clip. Scarborough.
Talk about economy for a second. A few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, somebody who was going to be voting for Kamala Harris came up to me and said, "Oh my God, Trump's going to win." I go, "Why is that?" He goes, I went to the grocery store. Butter's over $3. I kind of laughed and I said, "Well, that's kind of reductive, isn't it?" Said it to myself. To him, I smiled and I said, "Good point." But it actually, what everything we're hearing after the election is,
I'm just saying, the $7.
What's that?
The $7.
What's that? Butter is $7?
Yeah.
What?
Some
is
places.
it framed in gold?
Yeah, what kind of butter?
Depends on where you go. But
Okay, well, yeah, okay. Well,
$7.
anyway, my point is this, Willie. The rent is too damn high, and this guy was saying the cost of butter is way damn too high.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was a bit reductive. It ended up being just the point that if you look at the cost of groceries, if you look at the cost of gas, if you look at the cost of things compared to 4 years ago.
It's through the roof, though. It's higher than any time. Even with their stupid phony stats. He just got, like, reality checked right there. Where they're at. Zoiks, thank you for this. It says national average $5. But you got to remember, this is Joe Scarborough and Micah establishment. They're living in the upper class of wherever they're at up in D.C. I'm sure it is $7 there. A couple bucks more than what we're paying. It'd be more expensive in the inner city, for sure. If you've never been to the inner city's always hiked up way more. Even a bottle of water in a freaking hotel, they're going to get you. Especially if you go to somewhere like New York or a big city. Boy, oh boy, let me tell you. Like, you know, I want to play this clip here of Jimmy Kimmel losing it. He's about to cry. And just keep in mind all the people that can literally be on these tapes, not only with Epstein, but with these Diddy tapes and everything else.
Last night, it was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go, for healthcare, for our climate, for science, for journalism, for justice, for free speech. It was a terrible night for poor people, for the middle class, for seniors who rely on Social Security, for our allies in Ukraine, for NATO, for the truth and democracy and decency. And it was a terrible night for everyone who voted against him. And guess what? It was a bad night for everyone who voted for him, too. You just don't realize it yet.
Yeah. Well, that was obviously a majority of the country, so he can stand in front of a fake audience that claps for him, but in the end, you got to walk out in the streets, son. And when you walk out in the streets, it's the real deal. He gets away with it. He's protected. Again, he lives sheltered. He lives in a protected, gated community, part of the club. He pushes the agenda all the time. So, I wonder, though, what is it that really scares these people? It is panic, okay? It is panic, okay? They're freaking out. like, yeah, a bunch of this is staged theatrics and this and that, but I'm telling you, even at the top, there's factions that hate each other. That if the other ideology was gone, they would rule supreme. And that's where we're at here. I mean, there are people going to jail if you haven't noticed. And dude, cards are getting pulled. So people who thought they were untouchable and all this, if they went to one of these parties, they're not untouchable anymore. They got them. You see? Why do you think J-Lo came on here crying her freaking eyes out? Just like him, all emotional. Why? You already know why with her. Boy, I got some goods on the whole Diddy thing. You just wait. I got some goods. I can't say nothing yet. I'm still taking in, trying to get a little bit more information to add to it, and then we're going to tear into that whole thing. But the people involved with that, they're geeking. Check this out. Before the feds get out or get switched up and all this other stuff, and Trump and all them come in, the current administration, dude, they're gonna go after. They're gonna do whatever they can here, and it makes you wonder here. They already went after Trump before. Remember the whole classified documents thing, and that they've been trying to hold against him and all that stuff. Even Pompeo was saying that here recently. And everyone's warning he better not bring Pompeo onto his administration. He just may. Bannon said, don't be surprised if you see him on a part of it, which is crazy. But as this says here, it says, the feds raided Alfie Oaks, Naples, Florida home and farm with a battering ram on Thursday. Alfie Oaks is an outspoken Trump supporter and the owner of Seed to Table grocery store. Exactly what they've been wanting to attack and take down. They said that the raid was conducted by Defense Criminal Investigative Services, which investigates criminal behavior with the Department of Defense. And apparently, the man wasn't there. His wife and daughter were when the feds kicked in the door. IRS agents seen carrying boxes out. So what this shows is that the feds and the IRS right now are kicking down doors. And, a lot of this is politically motivated and connected. So you got to think, what is going to happen here with like a little over 2 months on the clock before Trump is inaugurated? Before he's officially in. Before, day one, he can do a ton of things. But you got to get there first. That's just in that instance. It doesn't mean he's going to save the world and all this other stuff. I'm saying just everything he's looking to bring to the table. Yeah, much love, Lowrider tonight. Much love, Live One. Check it in, my brother. Good to see you in the chat. Hope all is well with everyone tonight. I'm going to keep it pushing. Lots to cover here. Let's get an update here out of Maricopa County. They're saying that a new dump, and they're dragging this out. Just imagine if the real election was drug out this long. They're dragging this out, and they're saying that the new dump favors Kari Lake 58 to 40%. Margin cut to less than 40% or 1.5%, with over 750,000 ballots still uncounted. So she's been losing. She's been behind. And everyone's like, what? Like, how is this possible? Well, it's like 48.2 to 49.7. She's right there. And we'll see what happens. Hey, man, I appreciate that, Michael. Thank you for the super chat. Much love. God bless. Much love to all the cats across the pond there. Crown Jewels, Daz, all my cats. Lord McCormick, all y'all. That is the one plus here. I know on YouTube I'm able to reach at least people around the globe. We see them checking in from Canada, Mexico, Japan, you know. Yeah, much love to everybody. All right, so look at here. This is going to make some people pissed. I mean, it just is. It makes me a lot of things here. But, I mean, you got to control yourself here, but it doesn't make you happy. A whistleblower here now saying that FEMA ordered workers to purposely skip over houses that had Trump signs in the aftermath of Hurricane Milton. So can you believe that? That they were ordered here. FEMA ordered workers to skip houses that had Trump signs. That's insane. That's nuts. I mean, a lot of the places that we see in Asheville and things like that, they got destroyed, swept away. You ain't going to see a Trump sign or anything like that. But for these other places that were, well, I guess that still had a sign standing, they were told to skip. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Now look, it's not just hearsay. They got the images. Daily Wire ran the exclusive on it. And you can see right here. Internal messages obtained by the Daily Wire show that FEMA officials ordered relief workers in Florida not to help houses with Trump signs. So this was out of Florida, FEMA in Florida. It says right here, these are the messages that were sent out. Exposed. This is what happens when someone that's involved working for FEMA, it's a dark agency apparently, and it being ran by the Biden regime and all that. They do things like this, and you got good people that are there and that are caught in it, and they actually speak up, and they say, you know what, the heck with it. Look at this. It says implement best practices. No one goes anywhere alone. It says avoid homes advertising Trump pretty clearly. Right there. So, dude, I say they catch some kind of lawsuit or something at this point. The pendulum's swinging back the other way. Yep. And people should be freaked out and scared. Lists and all this, but the top echelon cats still aren't going to get touched or messed with, if you ask me. Just like Hillary for president and all that. Nah, it ain't never going to happen. Will you see half, if not all of Hollywood go down? Yeah, you very well could. Because they're just a bunch of rich, spoiled brats that these power players are looking at like they're just hungry for control and power. And they do it through blackmail and manipulation. You already know everything that it's about. It's about to get nasty. A whole bunch of people are going to get out. There's a reason why X amount of people kept saying, I'm fleeing the country if Trump gets in there. Even Ashton Kutcher just said it. And you know why? Because they're so deeply tied into this Diddy thing, period. Even J-Lo. J-Lo just went through a divorce. It was sitting there crying on national television in front of everybody for no reason. Bawling. Telling you have to vote for Kamala. And it's like, damn, they got you on a leash. Like, they pulled her card. They basically told her, like, you're getting out here. You're towing the line for us right now. And she put it on. Didn't she? She sure did. To show them how she don't want to go to prison for the rest of her life, because that's what it comes down to. You know, we'll keep your name out of the headlines and keep you out of all this if you come and you do work for us. And she did. So it's going to be interesting to see how long they try to keep a lid on J-Lo. There's like no way. she was with P. Diddy at the height of this stuff back in the 90s, especially into the 2000s. But whenever that era. I've got dirt on them. Let me tell you something. I have images that I've obtained. Let's just put it that way. That they're a bunch of that's what there's a reason it's called freak offs. They're a bunch of freaks. And so is J-Lo. She ain't nothing but a hoe. She's because I'm gonna have to blur out her chest and everything else, because she's standing there with P. Diddy. Of course, if she's with him, it's no big thing. If she's naked or half naked or whatever, but Busta Rhymes and these other guys that are in the images that are there, cheesing all big and everything else, like you, they're all gonna go down for this. Some of the biggest names of people that you've ever known, in the music industry, in Hollywood, all of it. And this just puts it out on blast now that Trump's in there. It's all about control. Don't you ever forget that. It's the establishment wanting allegiance, seeing who's going to bow down, who's still, you sign the contract. Devil comes wanting you to pay up. That's what's been going on here. All right, so I told you it's a left-right thing for sure, in that it gets nasty. They will throw you in jail. And it's a real thing when you're a president, you pardon, and all this other stuff. It does not look like Biden is going to pardon Hunter, though as long as he's not sitting in a prison cell, I don't think he cares about anything. So, as long as he walks there and didn't serve no major time in prison, I think it's all that matters with Hunter. So Steve Bannon, for instance, he got thrown in jail over this being connected to Trump, along with other people that have been thrown in and out. Roger Stone, others. That they want to attack and go after. I'm not the biggest fans of these guys, but they got valid points in what they're saying. I mean, this could be any of us, any of you. They want to come after you. They target you. They want you bad enough. What are you going to do at this point? They just showed they threw him in there for 4 months and basically let him out right now. And it was kind of to check him. And he basically was like, screw you. You guys thought you were going to win or whatever, but it's going our way now. So now I can imagine. Imagine if you're him, though. I mean, love him or hate him. Imagine if you're somebody who was just incarcerated for months in federal prison. Now the tables
You stole the 2020 election. You've mocked and ridiculed and put people in prison and broken people's lives because you said this thing was stolen. This entire phony thing is getting swept out. Biden's getting swept out. Kamala Harris is getting swept out. MSNBC is getting swept out. The Justice Department's getting swept out. The FBI is getting swept out. You people suck, okay? And now you're going to pay the price for trying to destroy this country. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to get to the bottom of where are the 600,000 votes. You manufactured them to steal this election from President Trump in 2020. And think where this country would be if we hadn't gone through the last 4 years of your madness, okay? You don't deserve any respect. You don't deserve any empathy, and you don't deserve any pity. And if anybody gives it to you, it's Donald J. Trump, because he's got a big heart and he's a good man that you're still going to try to put in prison on the 26th of this month. This is how much you people suck.
Did you hear that? On the 26th of this month. So enjoy the Thanksgiving dinner, but I'm sure all the talk right around then at that point is going to be them trying to put Trump in jail. He just said it. That is the next card. You see, this is why you gotta keep your eyes open, ears to the ground. See, he is very good friends with Trump. He just served time over his allegiance to him. And I mean, at this point, anything happens. I mean, in the charges and all that, will probably get pardoned and erased. You can't take away the time he served, but when Trump gets in there, he could probably try to take that off his record and all that stuff. But still, it doesn't change the fact. It shows you that when that side is in there, they will incarcerate people like this. And I'm telling you, man, it's going down all over the place. People that thought that they were untouchable, hence P. Diddy, running around thinking they're untouchable. The real controllers of all this, the real rich and powerful, are looking at it like the sick of it, like pathetic, like the hell with all of them. That's how these people think, and they'll smoke them all. They don't care. Any of them that were dumb enough to get caught up in something, sure they will. Or they're basically demanding fresh sacrifice. Everyone's gonna be like, but we already did, and then that's gonna be like, nah, like we want this now. It's this, or you're done. And anyone that's caught in this has no choice but to do a fresh sacrifice. And that will be filmed and recorded and everything else. And they'll be hung out to dry there. Blackmailed there. It's never ending. It's how they operate here, man. So they're trying to go after Trump, remember, on the 26th. This is just getting juicy. They start to get hectic. What happens, they put him in there. Who knows? So many different avenues can open up. They got him in there during Inauguration. Or whatever. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see, right? So I wanted to show more of these people that are losing their mind because of this. Taking it out on just whoever. Like all men out there, I guess, because of this. Because their news channel or station said, oh, more men came out and voted this time, and that made the difference. That blah, blah, blah. So these brainwashed freaks decided to take it out on everybody in their life. It's just hilarious. I want to play some of these clips and show you what some of these people are going through.
All I have to say is good luck getting laid. Especially in Florida, because me and my girlies are participating in the 4B movement. That's my next plan. And I'm dead fucking serious.
Nobody wants you or your girls. Anyway, this lady, this one says, doing my part as an American woman by breaking up with my Republican boyfriend last night and officially joining the 4B movement this morning. The 4B movement is what this thing is called. All right, and this must be one of their fearless leaders right here that thinks she's some kind of goddess and more intelligent than all of us.
Not that my content reaches a lot of men because I have an IQ of 130, but I want the men in this country to know that half the female population, we're dry. We're probably gonna stay dry. I'm dry as a desert, baby, and I don't want it to change. Yeah, we're not gonna like you anymore. You understand that? Like, it doesn't matter if you take away abortion. Like, we'll want to have your babies even less, right? Even if you take away contraception, like, women are...
I can't take no more of it. I'm going to go on to the next one. I can only handle so much, but I'm going to play this guy. He has some good points to add to it.
You know, I'm hearing talk of this 4B movement because Trump won the presidency, right? My thing is this. Oh no, shiver me timbers. You know what's so crazy? We've gone so far left that we've come back around right. Isn't that crazy? Women are saying, you know what? We're not going to have sex with any of you anymore until you treat us with respect. Let me get this straight. You had to have a woman lose the presidency for you to stop sleeping with men unless they show you respect? Is that not hilarious?
as the OBS kicks out and kicks back in. Must not like that one. But this 4B movement is something that's real out there. You know, if you're not following me on X, you guys probably should. There's going to be stuff over there that I kick out, that I share, that you're only going to find there, and a lot of breaking news and stuff like that. And some funny stuff you'll see over there too, all kinds of different things. But I remember I just had posted something here recently about Karine here, and somebody else out of the Biden administration, and I was like, never again. And it will be never again. Let's see what she has to say.
This administration message to millions of Americans that they're going to wake up the day after the election if Trump won and have their rights stripped away, that democracy would crumble, and the president said today we're going to be okay. So how do you square that?
I can square that. I'm going to square that in a way that hopefully makes sense, because I've been answering this question multiple times. The American people made the decision. There was an election 2 nights ago. There was. And it was a free and fair election. And we respect the election process. We do. And Americans spoke. And so the job of the president is to make sure we respect that. The job of the president is to make sure that we have a peaceful transfer of power. That is what the American people deserve. And that's what we're going to, it's not complicated. It's truly as simple as that. As simple as that. The president called the president-elect, invited him to the White House. You know why? Because that's customary. That is customary. That is what you do. If you respect what the American president's going to make sure that they get what they deserve, which is...
Yeah, okay. So, I'm just glad that we don't have to live through any more of that after this. See ya. And thank you, Uncommon. Good to see you, brother. Gary in the house. What's up, my man? What's going on, man? Hope everybody's doing well out there tonight. Check it out. People are pissed. Obviously, on the other side, that feel, everybody from the establishment side, so to speak, or left, that feels like this is a big loss. They're looking for someone to blame. And cats like George Clooney, that some of you may have liked out of a movie back in the day, he's completely sold us out. This guy is so far left and all that, it's sick. And you can't remember what these people did during lockdowns. These are the same people that were pushing, oh, you better mask up, you better do all these things, like threats, like you're garbage if you don't. And meanwhile, they're running around without one right in front of you. And it was giving off the imagery here of all the peasants that were around, those that didn't have to wear a mask because they were superior. And it was part of a ritual, I'm telling you, a global ritual. Did you do anything else? Yeah, well, yeah. So, let's move on to the next one. This one's funny. This is some funny stuff. This is a lady, this is a liberal professor that made back-to-back posts, and this is on election day. This is her being arrogant and cocky, and then it shows afterwards. It's pretty funny.
We're closing in on almost 5 p.m. Eastern time, and I've been tracking everything that's been going on across the country today.
Thank you, Alex.
And my most important encounter was when I went out to get my champagne. I was talking to the guy in the store, of course, asking him, did he vote? And he said he did early voting, and he asked me if I early voted. And he asked me, why I was getting the champagne. And I said, because I'm going to be toasting Madam President tonight. And he just looked at me with kind of like a smirk on his face. And I said, she's going to win this, right? And he says, oh, well, it's very, very close. And I said, no, it's not. He says, well, what do you mean? I said, no, it's not. The women of America are making their voices heard. Reproductive rights is what it all comes down to. And the women are voting in numbers relative to men that are unbelievable. She's won this. And I said to him, she's going to take every one of the swing states plus Iowa. And he said, oh, but the numbers are so close. I said, I'm a political analyst. I'm telling you right now, the numbers are there. She's taking this election. And then I said to him, you realize, and he didn't tell me who he voted for, but of course I knew. And I said, you do realize you wasted your vote, right? And I didn't care. And I walked out with my bottle of champagne and happily walked home. Bye-bye. So, as you know, Kamala Harris did not win the election. As the numbers stand right now, 1 million fewer votes than in 2020. And as I have said all along, you have to have a huge, huge turnout. And it goes to the Dems. And we didn't have it. There is one fundamental thing that you cannot account for when you're using data to predict or project.
So, yeah, that Karen just, sitting there like,
bye-bye.
Yeah, she thought that she was celebrating, huh? Yeah, welcome to the underground, Jay from the Bill. Much love, my brother. Hope all is good, all is well. I got to give a shout out here real quick to Ali MC. Thank you for the 5 coffees. Much love. Right back. Take care. Keep on pushing here. On to the next one. You know who this is? If you don't know, this is Tim Walz, the goober that just tried to run for VP. Disaster. One of the worst picks and options I've ever seen, ever. This is his daughter getting cocky and, like, I don't know, running her mouth, but...
Okay, I'm sitting here on my couch eating SpongeBob mac and cheese and watching Outer Banks, and I just have a couple, initial post-election thoughts. I've, officially reached a point of anger, and I'm not an angry person, so I'm just trying to channel it. The first one being, this country does not deserve Kamala Harris. That woman should go live her best life wherever she wants, doing whatever she wants, because we don't deserve her at this point. The only people that delivered this election were black women, and we failed them. And it's just heartbreaking, and we've got to do whatever we can to support them and support our people through these next 4 years. Another one is these people have to live in their own skin, as in J.D. Vance and Donald Trump have to be J.D. Vance and Donald Trump. And that is not a punishment I would wish upon anybody except those two individuals.
Okay, so again, these people are so butthurt. And this guy, man. So this is, a University of Oregon assistant director. Basically tells Trump voters to go commit suicide. I mean, it's like, this is the man in charge of college students. This is the man in charge of college students. Hopefully this gets his job taken.
I'm done crying. My sadness is over. My anger has set in. I am a very petty person, and I am very proud of that. Love it about myself, actually. And so I say this in the most disrespectful way possible. I don't care if you are my family. I don't care if you're my friend. I don't care if we've been friends our entire lives. You can literally go fuck yourself if you voted for Donald Trump. If you are so sad about your groceries being expensive, get a better fucking paying job. Do better in life. Get a fucking education. Do something. Because you are fucking stupid. And I hope you go jump off of a fucking bridge.
Yeah, well. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, I wish I was somebody that was in charge there at that place to call him into the office and check his ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, to promote that, to I don't know, to put that out there, to project that to any of the students or anything. I don't know. Someone like that doesn't seem like he should be in charge of students to that degree. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll be updating here in the future on the story like they got him, took him down. A lot of people seem to be feeling it. This guy, I've never really heard of him before. The David Pakman Show, apparently he's a left-leaning YouTuber or something out there. Makes films. Apparently, all these they're saying they're getting hit big time already. Feeling it.
When I woke up this morning, we had lost 5,000 YouTube subscribers compared to where we were last night. Now, the first thing I thought was, is this a glitch? We've been on YouTube for 15 years or something like that. And subscribers always just go up. They just never go down. They go up. Is something wrong with my channel? Is someone attacking my channel? What's going on? So I started texting. And I texted Brian Tyler Cohen. And I texted Tyler Cohen and Brian Cohen and Brian Tyler. All of them. I texted all of them. I texted Jesse Dollemore. I texted Luke Beasley and Farron Cousins and Sam Cedar. And every single one of our channels since last night is hemorrhaging subscribers.
So, all those people, they're all losing thousands. So, well, they're all geeking out. It's just a sign of, I guess, the shift taking place already. I told you that these charges against Trump, some of them here, the ones that were being brought upon by Special Counsel Jack Smith, they're not really getting thrown out. It's just they've moved to pause the case against Trump. And Smith is going to vacate all remaining deadlines on his federal J6 case. So, I guess right now, the 26th coming up of this month, as we heard Bannon say, that's the next target date when they're going to try to go after or hit Trump. So we're just going to have to watch that and see what happens out here at the circus. And now, we get to some of the bigger news that they're dropping. And guys, you should know. I've said this multiple times now, and I told you where they were taking this. Told you. They were priming it. They were telegraphing it. They were doing it too much. That's how you knew that this was where they were going. Again, the FBI dropping these headlines here, basically, that they stopped an Iranian plot to assassinate Trump. And that basically, there's 3 people that they've got indicted. They've got 2 of them in custody. But that the third man, Farhad Shakiri, remains at large and believed to be in Iran, is what they're saying. So now they got someone that wants to kill Trump, attempted to kill Trump, There was this plot. U.S. authorities say that they thwarted this whole assassination plot. Man, oh man, I told you, they were planting the seeds. Sure enough, here we go. So by the time he gets in there, and like I said, we got 2 months to go. This is fitting to get interesting. He's got all the excuse in the world with them saying they're trying to kill him to go after him. But what it looks like here is that, from what I can tell, he's hitting back economically. Because he's a businessman. That's how he operates. And that's this whole thing with tariffs, it's the same thing. He's going to hit them economically. So let's keep on going. Next one's here. We got Hezbollah. Basically, the front lines for Iran. They targeted Israel's Trump Heights the day after the election. So they launch a couple rockets up in there toward Trump Heights, a place named after him. Just kind of like it's a sign, like, yeah, like F you. And that's how they feel about it. So it adds to it, right? So what's this? Maximum Pressure 2.0. Trump is planning to drastically throttle Iran's oil sales. So this is where it comes into play. He plans to increase sanctions on Iran and throttle its oil sales as part of an aggressive strategy to undercut Tehran's support of violent Mideast proxies. So trying to hit them in their pocket. You see, this is where they're taking it. They say that there's not a strong interest right now, and they're not even talking anything about regime change or trying to remove the regime out of Iran or anything like that. They're just going to hit them economically and take them out this way. It's basically what they're saying. Interesting, because then if you're not talking about troop mobilizations, full scale, going head to head with Iran or anything like that, you're getting them this way, economically, and it's almost like, well, if you're not sending our troops and tanks and all this other stuff, most people are just going to sit there and keep their mouth shut. It's Trump trying to hit them economically. Okay, so at some point, they're going to buck back somewhere, somehow, I feel. Again, it looks like it's going to be on Trump's watch. It looks like that's where they're taking it for the history books. Any big events from here, obviously, is going to happen on his watch outside of the next 2 months. This window that's going to be shrinking every day. I don't know. I was up there and I witnessed Trump's last inauguration. And back then, it was thick with BLM out everywhere. Be interesting to see what the climate this time around is going to be like. And sure, it's going to be heavily guarded and secured, especially after everything they've shown us. Second, see. Here's what I believe. During the consensus piece, the word fought, fight, 12 minutes personally. Oh, okay. Yeah, she definitely told the people to fight the public square. So, yeah, Kamala's exit speech to any of the ones out there wanting to get rowdy that were listening, she basically told them, take the fight to the public square. Which I expect to see some kind of action. So, but let's talk about these world events. Trump has a unique ability here to to do some things. A unique chance also to be this man of peace. There was glimpses of it last time he was in there, but none of that happened. But now it's a whole different setting. And he's literally walking in. It can be portrayed as the man that brings the peace to Ukraine. And look at this. Hamas and Palestinian leaders call for a ceasefire with Israel. Seeing that Trump's going to be getting in there. That's how much of a difference just him getting in there affects the globe. It's crazy. And look at this. Check this out. Who let the dogs out? They've got beefed up Trump security. And it's a robot dog that's been deployed to protect him. So this is part of his security apparatus now. It's got all these sensors and cameras and all that stuff, but they caught it on film. It's been spotted here at his Mar-a-Lago residence. Right here, check this out. There it is, man. We're in that age. Robotic dogs on the prowl at Mar-a-Lago on the perimeter. Okay? So that's where we are at. Trump says he has no choice, and I put a video out on this, but he has no choice but on day one to enact mass deportations. And he says no matter the price tag, and it looks like this is going to be one of the big things that he comes through with big time. Now, the left's done a good job of trying to fearmonger this whole thing, saying he's going to be rounding up everyday Americans, putting them in concentration camps, doing sweeps of neighborhoods. And they've come out and said that's nothing like that's going to happen. That a majority of where these people are, they know where they're at. First off, and like sanctuary cities, which isn't good for anyone that's in a sanctuary city, because there's going to be action in these places. For instance, you could live in an apartment building, and guess what? There could be one bad set of illegals in there, and guess what? You may see some action because the feds and these teams are going to be coming through, looking for them in that apartment, kicking down their door to get them. Because things are going to change like ASAP. Everybody that came across this border illegally and now is going to be forced out, man, this is like a powder keg, if you ask me. There's about to be shootouts. I feel like you could just make a whole new series of cops off this. It's going to be that crazy. Dudes teams of people hunting down these migrants at different places. It's going to get crazy. I'm telling you. It's going to get hairy in some of these situations. But overall, that's the plan. He's sending out teams right out the gate to start rounding up what equates to millions of people. Okay? So, the left, others say, well, what happens to the families? You're going to rip families apart. And their response is, well, the families can all go together. If they're all illegal, they can all go back out together. Just that simple. There's not going to be using any loopholes here to try to keep 40 members to one person no more. And it's definitely not going to be catch and release. If people want to come here legit, they're more than welcome. The whole world, we're made of migrants. But just as I can't go to Canada or Mexico without getting kicked out, if I'm not there legitimately. The same here. You can't get ran up in. And here's something. And you need to think about this. I've said it a couple times already, but it's true. If they didn't bring all these illegals in here to rig an election, What did they bring them in here for? Answer's not pretty. The reality of it. And I think that there's going to be some massive big things pop off. It's like a powder keg. How? You think that all these people are going to go willingly and easily? Now, stop and think about this. Some people need to go to jail. But will they? I highly doubt it, especially Kamala. And it needs to be, because she took the responsibility underneath the title of border czar, and she still is right now for the next 2 months. She took the responsibility in that title, called all the shots, so it all comes back on her. She ordered border agents to allow known murderers to step into this country. Can you believe that? Someone let a known murderer enter our country. That's treason. That went on to murder Americans. Dude, they should be double charged. And it gets even crazier, though. In places like New York, they even let them out on bail afterwards, which is insane. So that right there is a crime to me. That's treason. You let a known killer walk in here, and you ordered our Border Patrol to allow it to happen. That right there is enough to smoke someone. But seeming that the whole Trump administration right now is not even going to get into power unless they certify. I don't think he wants to be telegraphing picking any fight with Kamala, it seems. He's going after all kinds of people, so we're going to be circling back to this, without a doubt. Everyone's changing their tune now. The NYC mayor is ending food vouchers for illegals. Remember, he got his card pulled here recently. He was with Diddy, gave him the key to the city. Come on. He's ready to work with Trump, he says. Well, we'll see how far these lists go and just how, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle all this. I said here earlier, I was talking about the whole thing with Kari Lake. Arizonans here approve police arrest of illegal entrants. Okay, so this is big. This is just like in California. They just made it a crime again. Or made it to where if people are committing crimes, they go to jail. They wasn't, if you can believe that. But now people are going back to jail. In Arizona, making the move here to approve arrests of illegal entrants. Or migrants, however you want to put it. It looks like even George Soros and family are shook by this whole thing, because it shakes the foundations of the power structure and how much they can do. When like your team or your side is in power, you get away with doing all these things. And he too should be in jail for treason. Anytime you're hiring your own, like the citizens of a country, to cause chaos, that is treasonous. And to cause madness, to burn down buildings and all, he should be responsible for all those things that he paid people to do. He cut checks for all of them, for BLM all the way back to the days of Ferguson. And if you don't know, it seems BLM is almost like pretty much officially retired. You're not going to see him on the scene ever again. As I was saying on one of the last streams, they're done. They're folded up. All their leadership is like running because they spent all the money. And that's the main thing. The money, all the money that was given to them, they didn't spend on their community. They spent on themselves in mansions and clothes. It's all gone. Some of them are going to jail. The others are like in hiding. And it's nothing. It's folded. And I guess Soros has basically said, guess what? No more money's going that way. It's going to go toward this this whole Palestinian, movement, anti-Israel type thing. That's the other front that they started. It seems like that is the front that's going to make moves from here. His son here, shocked that the incumbent political order is being crushed around the globe. Okay? And it is. Everything is changing. It's not just in the U.S. where Democrats have lost ground relative to the 4 years earlier. Incumbents have also lost ground in the UK, in France, in India, in Japan, in South Africa. All this year. So, people have spoken and bucked back, okay? But what little Soros here says is that the incumbents in every single one of 10 major countries have been tracked by a ParlGov global research project. And it shows that for the first time that all these places have been overwhelmingly overthrown, like the establishment side, the left. So this means that they're restructuring. It's just what happens, I guess, when your side gets rocked. And he ain't got much time on the clock. Old George ain't got much time left. He's old at this point, getting really old. Everything's shifting over to his son. And his son is just a little mini-me. Maybe not looks-wise, but politically and how he's trained, his son is fully trained to continue pushing all the agendas that George Soros has initiated and been about. Which means this is the new target, man. This is where the target goes in terms of the man that is paying for chaos and causing treason again. And they shouldn't get away with it. They should not get away with it. I mean, there are legitimate crimes that can be pushed on these men. They just got the money to throw at everyone and everything. Controlled DAs and all this other stuff. Well, guess what? They took out the Soros puppet LA DA. Gone. Yep, George Gascon. Yep. People had enough. And this is what needs to happen more. These people that are getting paid off by Soros and the minions, and you're just not realizing it, well, you look hard enough, this is what you find. Guys like this, well, he's gone. That's a good start. And when you looked at, it was surprising, when you looked at some of the charts here about the election in California, there was a ton that were counties that were red. It was the major populous cities like San Francisco and around the downtown areas of the major populous areas that controlled the Democratic sway. A lot of the other counties in the outskirts, they were all red. It's kind of crazy. It reminds me of here in my state. Like it's like every county's all red except for the county like right where Louisville sits and like Lexington, the two biggest cities, and that's it. So it's like the Dems come in there and they try to set up shop and push their agendas there. But when you look at the rest of the whole freaking state, it's like, nah, we don't agree. We got a senior Harris advisor deleting his X account. There's a massive scandal brewing over what they call $20 million in campaign debt. Right? Well, that's funny. $20 million. Look at the next one. How did you spend $1 billion and not win? What's 20 million to a billion? Okay? So the infighting is already broke loose, they're saying. This is literally between the Harris camps and the Biden camps, pointing fingers and all this other stuff. Getting kind of nasty. And it's being revealed that $1 billion was spent. And that's crazy. That's a lot of money. $1 billion on a campaign. I mean, the ads and going city to city cost that much? No. These crooks, they funneled more money into Ukraine and all that than you could ever even imagine. Patty, thank you. Had to unsub to resub just to say thank you, Patriot. Odd. Well, much love. Weird things, I guess, on this channel. Try to keep it pushing here. Get through these last ones here before we wrap it up. So Biden came out. I'm just going to play him coming out. He's seen all. Yeah, pep in the step. He seemed happier than ever. Gladder than ever.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Please. Thank you. Good to see this cabinet and the staff together here. Thank you.
See, it's just all smiles and all everything. It's just like, oh yeah. Like, dude, like, he's, I can believe, he did his job, it's done. And like, he can, I bet he is happy. Like, yeah, like I made it through it. And I'm exiting the stage. And like, then he's going to go off into the shadows. Like, I mean, well, I guess not. Anytime they roll out any of the presidents like they do that are still alive at these ceremonies or whatever, you'll still have to see him pop up. Yeah. I don't know. Dude's getting old, man. Falling apart. What do we have here? BC. Hey, thank you for the coffee. It says thank you for the truth. Thank you for the support, and everyone else. Anyone that sent them super chats, PayPal, or buy me a coffee. It's all the best way to support the channel. It's all appreciated to the fullest. Now, I can't stand Anderson Cooper here. You know what? I remember they inserted Anderson Cooper, the CIA did, in propaganda from my generation, very young. When I was in middle school, there was a thing when you got to class in the morning called Channel 1. And it was like government-based propaganda being played in the school, yeah. But guess who was the guy on there? It was Anderson Cooper, and it's where he started. I'll never forget it. And when I look back, I'm like, man, they seeded you into our memory bank even when we was kids. Like, I see what they did. And then moved him all the way to the political spectrum as we were adults. The whole thing was hoping that people would gravitate toward him. They'll be so used to listening to Anderson Cooper because you've been listening to him since you were a kid. Getting indoctrinated in the classroom. And it's the truth. He's CIA trained. A lot of them are. Anyhow, they're trying to push this whole narrative of, Russia again, and pushing that Trump is with Putin and all this other stuff, but we'll play this clip.
Trump's term was rife with scandals and controversies and leaks. Will a second administration staffed with loyalists have similar levels of chaos? That remains to be seen. Here are now two legendary journalists, best known for breaking the Watergate scandal that ultimately led to the resignation of former President Richard Nixon. Bob Woodward, the author of the new book War, and Carl Bernstein, author of Chasing History. Bob, let me start with you. You've interviewed Trump at least 20 times, and I know recently you said that the former president is far worse than Richard Nixon. Obviously, a majority of voters were not concerned. I'm wondering what you thought last night as you watched results come in. What do you think of where we're at right now?
Well, it's the functioning of democracy. So he's president-elect. There are lots of things to...
I'm not going through the whole thing here. I just want to play a little clip there. But if you're CNN, you're all these people, and you're trying to push this, I mean, you now know the whole crowd is like against you. I mean, you should have known this before. But everyone's had it. Like, I don't know. Mainstream, lamestream, man. I will say that we're just going to have to wait and see. It was looking grim that if the other side got in, they were going to go in and they were going to go after free speech hardcore. They were going to dismantle X and all this other stuff. And who knows what they were going to do from there. They're tyrannical. So at least that has been suppressed. Yeah, there's still going to be censorship and all this other stuff. It's a left-right paradigm. But at least what they were trying to come in to do has been avoided on the bright side. Because, and I still don't think that this is as long as you're the world's richest man, there's probably going to be definitely some kind of target on your head like Elon. But Elon is now getting pulled into the political realm big time because he threw his support in here. Like, Trump has asked him to take part in his phone call with Zelensky here on this world stage. And this signals that Trump trusts everything that he has to say, all of his input in all this. And they have put together a power team, more or less. When you look at it, it's kind of like, how could you have lost with all the support here, all the people that... And I got breaking reports of a knife attack in Seattle. No description on the perp. Thank you, Hitman, for that email. Spread that off there. Steve says, my theory is at least we get maybe 4 more years of prep. LOL. I see your optimistic thinking. I'm thinking... something's stopping me from accepting that. Stopping me short, like maybe halfway. Or sooner. I don't know. I just feel that some big events are going to happen. I hope you got that much time. I hope you're right, brother. I really do. But I'm prepared for anything at this point. We still got to get through these next 2 months. It's just like that, right? Like this next 2 months before any of this stuff can even go into motion. Before the border can even be shut down and stopped. The biggest waves are trying to come right now. They are. I seen a clip earlier. The dude admitted it. He said some of the groups down there in the caravans initially, when they heard the news, they kind of like stopped and fell apart and this and that. But then others realized if they could get there before Trump's inaugurated, they can still get in. And that means that there's a massive wave, a massive rush that's trying to get here before the gates close, so to speak. The gates are still open until he's inaugurated. It's pretty sad to say, which means a huge influx could be storming up in there. Right now. They have been. The border czar is Kamala Harris. She should be tried in court for letting murderers across the border. It should go on her head, dude. This is real deal. I'm serious. Any judges, any lawyers, anyone out there that cares? Like, it's serious. Like, you'd have her. I say it all the time. We've got charges on Soros. We've got charges on Bill Gates, administering liquid jab on youth in other countries, and he's not even a licensed doctor and all this other stuff. It just goes on and on. We've got them. You just got to get them in there. We've got the charges on them. Yeah, Muslims endorse Trump, and thank you for the super chat there, comrade. Say peace and then sudden destruction. Yeah, well, we've heard that echoed and echoed. So we live in a very crazy time. Remember, they put Trump and Israel on that same coin as King Solomon. And he's got his own town, a whole city or whatever named Trump Heights after him that they just were shooting missiles at. This plays big with Israel and everything with Israel and everything with Iran and all this. Obviously, I done showed you. I warned you. It's now a thing. It's actually happening. This Trump administration is going after Iran, without a doubt. They're already telling you they want to assassinate him. So RFK. I'm not going to play his clip because they're just hard to get through. But I don't care for him. But if he can bring positive change and things, who cares? It doesn't matter what I think about him and his past and all that. If he can actually bring positive things, then so be it. I welcome it. He's sitting here saying he's right there next to Trump too. He's like hanging out with him. One of his right-hand men, just like Elon. It's why they're calling this whole thing the Magnificent Seven. And Tulsi's right there too. This is like his inner crew all around him. And RFK is getting to hear and see these presidential actions and type of moves where Trump has to talk to his generals and all this other stuff. And I don't know. It shows you how close already the he's is in there. And the one thing about old Bobby here is that, yeah, he's a Kennedy. And he's doing the same talk that, JFK did, that he's going to shake up the CIA and the upper echelons. Well, you see where that got his dad and his uncle. That's why it's hard for me to believe that's anything serious. Here on this world stage. But if he can if some big heads can roll, I'm not talking like some illusionary moves, like a guy that was going to go into retirement like Christopher Wray. They're like, all right, he's fired. But make it look like they did something. We got to see, like he said, full departments have to go. It came out of his own mouth. He's talking some big game. Let's see it there, partner. Let's see it. I welcome it. Not going to knock it. Let's see what he can do. We're going to keep them honest, man. If they're doing something that's good, we'll give them props. If there's something shady going down, we're calling it out. This is how it is. And look, this whole thing, it's a global orchestration. So when people get sucked back into the whole country thing, I don't know. There's solutions to this, and people fall for it. The left-right paradigm. When you latch onto a hero on one side, and the other side is painted as the obvious enemy, it's easy to go toward the side that looks like the good guys. Well, they know this. They are masters of this. And I'm telling you, you're witnessing it in real time right now, more so than any time in history. But a lot of people are just going to go along with this whole thing because it's almost like literally, it's almost like these are the days of our lives. It's like a soap opera. It's entertainment to them. I'm going to play you this clip that is Donald Trump telling the world what he's about to do. This is him going after the deep state. So this is it. This is all his big moves, what he's about to do.
Here's my plan to dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all. And corruption it is. First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively. Second, we will clean out all of the corrupt actors in our national security and intelligence apparatus, and there are plenty of them. The departments and agencies that have been weaponized will be completely overhauled so that faceless bureaucrats will never again be able to target and persecute conservatives, Christians, or the left's political enemies, which they're doing now at a level that nobody can believe even possible. Third, we will totally reform FISA courts, which are so corrupt that the judges seemingly do not care when they are lied to in warrant applications. So many judges have seen so many applications that they know were wrong, or at least they must have known. They do nothing about it. They're lied to. Fourth, to expose the hoaxes and abuses of power that have been tearing our country apart, we will establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption. And there are plenty of them. Fifth, we will launch a major crackdown on government leakers who collude with the fake news to deliberately weave false narratives and to subvert our government and our democracy. When possible, we will press criminal charges. Sixth, we will make every inspector general's office independent and physically separated from the departments they oversee so they do not become the protectors of the deep state. Seventh, I will ask Congress to establish an independent auditing system to continually monitor our intelligence agencies to ensure they are not spying on our citizens or running disinformation campaigns against the American people, or that they are not spying on someone's campaign like they spied on my campaign. Eighth, we will continue the effort launched by the Trump administration to move parts of the sprawling federal bureaucracy to new locations outside the Washington swamp. Just as I move.
Now, I want to pause right there. They are moving assets out of D.C. He just said it, and I expect that you're going to see this under his administration, an acceleration of it. Something, I think, is going to happen. There's no better way for the demons that run in D.C. to cover their tracks but to do one thing, and that's to bring D.C. down like Building 7. To wipe it out. If there was ever a place, if you're the bad guys, if there was really ever a place that you wanted to cover your tracks and wipe out all your dirt, well, all your dirt's done in D.C. And if it's so vast, if there's ever a place that you'd want to really drop a bomb and wipe it out and hit for the history books, make it look like we got attacked, wiped out, defeated, downed, taken out, they'd let it happen. They have Cheyenne Mountain and so much, but they've had Cheyenne Mountain for a freaking decade more. They've got these locations all over. He just said it. It's interesting. Why would they be doing that? Why would they even care to be moving anything out of it instead of just redoing it? He also stated exactly what RFK said. They're going to go after all the corruption in all these alphabet gangs and all this stuff. That means that they're all supporting this. Ultimately, he's the president. I mean, to me, he's the highest one on the totem pole when it comes to that, as it's seen, especially above RFK. I just think back to JFK. I mean, how can you... He gave his speech, and he came out, and he went after him, and you've seen what happened. Of course, all this stuff is to spin. stage stuff here in ritual, especially with Trump, with the stuff that happened with him. The Butler thing had all the signs of ritual and staged everything. One of the lead CIA ladies was right behind him. Didn't flinch as the shots are going off with her cell phone. Just pulls it out and starts filming up close. Man, the whole thing was an op. It's just nuts. And then all this talk right now that they could still try to do something else between now and Inauguration Day, which is true out here on the stage. I mean, anything can happen. So, yeah, anything can happen. I told you earlier that the left has their anti-Trump group out there. And, well, they took to the streets here afterwards, and they're supposed to be hitting these other cities. This is the anti-Israel groups, the Palestine movement groups, and of course, you got AOC playing her little role of trying to whip them up and get them going in the streets. Of course, I don't know what she's pissed off about, what she's bitching about. She got reelected into her spot. Everyone overlooked and overseen that, I guess. She sure did. As all these Republicans are knocking out Democrats everywhere, well, she kept her spot. And I expect to see more of this. You can see they're outside Trump Tower. I do expect to see more of this leading up to Inauguration Day. And they may flood. Who knows what we'll see here. They may try to pull some huge stage crap and flood the mall with protesters on Inauguration Day. I'm going to tell you, though, it's a hard thing to get into. It's like Fort Knox. To get into the mall on Inauguration Day down in the main area, there's only a few different ways to get in, and you got to go through these funneled security checkpoints. And I stayed on the outside of it up on a hill, kind of filming down on the whole thing. I had a really good vantage point from above, and I got them all. I got BLM, I got the bikers, I got everything that was going down. It was good. It was a cool experience. If you've never experienced an inauguration, I'll say this. If you can go to Trump's inauguration this time around, if you can make it safely up there and back and afford it and all that stuff, I would check it out. It's always worth getting one under your belt and saying you at least experienced it in your life. You know, like a bucket list type thing. I've been there, done that. I'd go back if I had to. But DC is the one place in this world that I tell you, every time I roll out of there, I swear I'll never go back. And it's always for good reason. Because I've been through so much up there. See, when the clashes start and you're someone like me, a live streamer, and you're on the front lines, you get attacked. You get guns thrown in your face. You get mauled, thrown around, hit, weapons, non-lethals used on you of every kind you could think of. And they just do it and don't care up there. And you don't want to get sent into the DC jails up there, into the gulag. That's their playground. Remember, in DC, they've got their own laws, rules, judges, whole different district court, everything. They're their own entity. DC is. Most of the sheep out there don't realize this, but man, you better realize what you're walking into if you're going up there to cover frontline stuff. It's different just to sightsee or stay on the outskirts or on the perimeter or in your hotel at night. But when that sun sets, it's action time for me when I'm out there. And instrumental. Hey, thank you. Oh, yeah? Hey, man, email me anything you want to get to me, dabu7@yahoo.com. I appreciate that. And much love. So yeah, um, just to recap on some things here too, on all this. Um, Trump has got to go to court coming up here on the 26th. His inauguration day will be on the 20th, but they've got to push all this stuff in through on January 6th, ironically enough. And they're all trying to say that they're going to acknowledge all this. That's what Biden said earlier, too, in his little speech that I didn't play, that they were going to have a smooth transition of power from his regime over to Trump and all this other stuff and blah, blah, blah. So I would just, I've got multiple here that are talking about, multiple links here talking about the violence here and projected violence and chaos that could get kicked up. If there's one thing that's for sure is, when the Biden regime was in there was really no need for, the left or BLM or anyone out there to be doing anything when their people were in power, so to speak. Now that it's shifting and Trump's going in, it can go back to where, Soros' minions thrive on causing hell in the streets. And they will. And again, this is just everyday American people that they're going in. They're getting into their minds. It's really money. When somebody sees an ad or hears someone say, "Yo, man, check this out. We're gonna get bussed down to this other city. I ain't never been down to wherever the city is. You ever been there? Well, look, they're gonna pay for our bus down. They're gonna pay for the hotel, and they're gonna pay us by the hour, like $15 an hour, man. For all of it. Like, dude, you should come. Like, they're hiring like anybody that wants to come. And see, that's what Soros does. It's a young youth that are sitting around not doing anything better or at the time. It's like, whoa, boom. It becomes exciting. Oftentimes, a lot of these young people don't realize what they're getting into. And I've seen people go from one side of the spectrum to, over the years, realizing what's what. And it just takes time and, I don't know, willing to be open enough to accept what's really going on out here. Because if not, you're just being used by George Soros and others to cause chaos in your own country. That's all BLM ever did. They just come in and they burn down buildings and things of that nature, man. Yes, and thank you, Quantum, for the 11 coffees. Much love and respect. Got that wrench tonight, yes, and earned it. Deservingly. Much love, God bless. Shout outs to all the purebloods out there. Oh, man. Yeah, that the whole Bill Clinton thing is just going to have to, I don't know. Yeah, hopefully happy with the wrench. Serve us some justice. Smash some trolls for me. Well, this pretty much brings me to the end of another stream here. Time's flying by. I look to be back here on Monday. Going live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Cover all the madness that happens between the shows. And yeah, again, much love to all the pure bloods, true bloods. All the people fighting the good fight. God bless all of you. Yeshua bless you. All of you out there. Short Bus, happy birthday. Thank you all the mods. as always, uncommon. If I can get out there, I would. Here, let me drop a poll here real quick. Look, if you guys want to get out of here, cut out. It's all good. Show's over. I'm just giving some final thoughts. Crown Jewels checking in, my brother. And where to have a meetup. All right, I threw some options down there. And I guess I threw beach in Florida in there. It's where to have a meetup. Okay? So it's thrown out there. Purpose beyond self. Thank you for the coffees. Stay vigilant, he says, and much love. I just dropped a poll, and I just want to spend a couple minutes just talking, give us some final thoughts here, so just shutting it down. And check some feedback here on this poll. Give you guys a second to respond. Now, this is what I'm talking about. I've been talking for some time about having a meetup, about trying to have a meetup with everybody out there. And it's for all you guys out there that are listening that want to meet up. That's how it always is. And we've had some really great shows in the past. I've held all the other shows thus far in the Midwest, in Cincinnati, in my hometown, and it's worked out great. It's been a great setup. I had a great time, met great people. Some of the best people that I know to this day, I had a chance to meet at the conferences. Whatever the meetup's going to be, a conference, meetup, whatever, however. And I've always said that if I had a chance, I do one every other year. That has been the goal. And 2025 will be the every other year. It'll be time for another gathering. And if the world hasn't gone to crap, well, let's get it in, man. Plus, I mean, there's other stuff. I obviously want you guys' input. And I'll just throw some things out there. So far, Midwest leading the charge with 50%. Beach in Florida was second with 29%. And Vegas with only 22%. So, see, these things way big. It comes down to what all you guys want to do. I figured since we did it in the Midwest so many times, and it was convenient, and that's why, that I would try for somewhere else. And I talked for all my West Coast cats that fly out for the shows and all that. I'd always promise we'll try for Vegas. I would love to try to get out there, but I'll be honest, it's damn near impossible. It's so hard to pull off a trip driving, because I wouldn't be flying, I'd be driving. But about a week or so is about all I could do, if I could get that in. But there's so much more than a meetup, okay? Let me just explain some things here real quick, okay? Life is short. And when windows of opportunity open up, I've learned that you either make the best of them or you can sit there and it'll pass you by. And before you know it, you can be like, where'd the time go? Because it's flying. Flying. You're like, where'd the time go? And you'd be wishing that you did some of these things. So, instead of sitting around just wishing, I tried to make them a reality with these things. First off, let me just say, if this comes to Vegas or out west, it's not just about Vegas, but I got Vegas there as the option. But just keep this in mind. If something outside of Vegas popped up that's just out west that worked better, I'm open to that. It's It was just an option for all my out west people, something central out west. And I figure a fun city for anyone that hasn't never been out there. Vegas is very unique. All the hotels are very unique. It's laid out unique. And plus, it's not just about Vegas. Vegas, the show would be like a night. We do the show for one night, right? But if we're in town, we got to hit multiple birds with one stone, right? If we're taking the time to go all the way out to somewhere like Vegas, then I'm thinking, like, I'm doing something else. And that entails, like, I'm going to see Area 51. Another a bucket list, major bucket list thing for no one that's never ever did it or experienced it. It was one of the most unique and fun things I ever did in my life. I'm glad that I'm able to say that I got it in. That the mysterious, Area 51 isn't just myth. You don't have to sit there and wonder. Like, no, I climbed the mountain, me and the boys, and we seen it with our own eyes. And, like, I got it. I got the footage. It's on my channel. The whole thing was an amazing experience. The whole journey. And that's what it was. It was a journey. And you only get so many chances in life to do this. So I always told myself if I could ever do it again, I'd go out and we'd stay the night, one night. Because they got new hotels out there. They got new hotels off the strip. We had to stay at the Little Alien, which is not the best place to stay. Out in the middle of the desert. I had a rad detector for radiation, for like nuclear stuff. And I was getting high readings off the water out of the sink. I was like, dude, I'll never go back there again. But what do you expect out there? Where they're doing all the testing and everything. So they got new hotels, and I said, we'll stay at those hotels, and we'll hike up, and I want to camp out under the stars. And then see what we see. Because I didn't get a chance to do that. We took four-wheelers and drove them a good bit up the mountain. Because you're in the desert, going up way up in the mountains. And that helped us. But we got to a point where you can't take them no more. And you got to, like, ditch them. We ditched them. And we had to take off on foot. And you finally get to this little summit. And you can feel all the wind blowing. You're out in the middle of the desert, man. It's crazy, beautiful land. Beautiful country. You'll be glad that you're out there at least getting that in. And then you see a little camera. And it's at the top. And when you get to that top, it's amazing. But you look up and there's a camera, a ball camera on you. And it's the feds watching. They're watching you the whole time. And we didn't care. We knew. We didn't keep it a secret. I let it be known we were taking the trip. They'd listen and watching the stream. I let them know what we were doing. And I felt like they put on a show for me. In broad daylight. The new hangar that they built at the time. I was talking about it. We were going to be the first ones to get footage on it. We were. We did some firsts. We did a lot of firsts down there. Everybody at the time had watched History Channel and heard about Area 51. Everybody. Okay, but this is the beginning of live streaming. No one had ever live streamed Area 51. No one. At that point, we did it. We did it. That's what we set out to do. We did it. All these places had documentaries on it. No one had went live from up there when we did it. So, also, that I knew of it, you could tell at the time, like, I couldn't find any drone footage of Area 51. I launched the drone. I didn't fly it and I could have never got anywhere close to the base. It's 26 miles away, but you could see it. We could see it with our cameras. You could zoom in, you could see everything. And I got the footage on my channel. I went straight up in the air with my drone, way up high, but the wind was so strong, man. I thought it was going to take it. Coming up over that mountain, we were on top of it. I'll never forget, I got right up to the height where in my thing I could look and I could see little white specks And that was it. That was the buildings in Area 51, and I got it. I got off the drone, Area 51, which we got it from the ground and the air. Of course, I was nowhere close enough to fly it over or even in their airspace, because if I would have done that, of course, it would have been some trouble. But they knew what I was doing. I was there. I mean, the whole nine. I did not go into their airspace. I just went strategically high enough to see it from height. But you really didn't need that. All you need is a zoom camera, and you can zoom right into the base. So, long story short, what happened? They pulled some kind of craft or device out onto the tarmac outside of that whole hangar. And it starts spinning, gyroing. It looks like a gyro going back and forth, and it's spinning. It's crazy. And then it just disappears. Gone. Just gone. Just gone. It's not there no more. And we witnessed this, and I swear, we felt like they put on a show for us. Like, I swear to you. It's like, oh yeah, boys, get your cameras ready. Are you ready? And they knew we were there filming that hangar. And it was out of the new hangar. They rolled this thing out, and it's right there in the footage, broad daylight. It's sitting there, starts gyroing and spinning. It's like, are you kidding me? It's hard to even believe, but it happened. And I got it on film. It's the even crazier part. That's the amazing stuff you can do when you just get out there and attempt to try to live life and get answers, right? I always wanted to know, though, what would the skies look like out there at night, though, if we camp there? So you can see it all. You can see a ton of buildings. Like, again, if you're interested and you're curious and all that, you go back and check out our footage. We got it. And I remember the way in and the way that we took out. And I'll go in the way that we came out last time, because the way that we went in was like an hour or two longer. Anyhow, that's an out west adventure. One more that I got in out there was the Four Corners, and that's close to Vegas. I would do the same thing. I would do Vegas, and we would drive down to the Four Corners if we don't do Area 51, and just take your pick. Take your pick of what national park you want to go to. There's wonders in all of them. I've discovered personally a bunch of amazing stuff, and I've taken a couple trips out there already, and I discovered in the flesh some amazing stuff. Some stuff that should have signs on it saying that these ancient people built this, and it's no longer here, but it's made by man, without a doubt. It's crazy. It's all over. It's like a bomb went off. It's either like a bomb went off out there, or it's just that old that time, wind, sand has eroded it away. Because that's what it looks like. It looks like it's just worn away, like eroded away out there. Because there's huge footprints, squares, circles on the riverbeds right next to where these ancient waters had flown, like ancient, like today, like in Cincinnati or St. Louis or Pittsburgh or any of these cities. They're right there on the water, and they got buildings right there on the water and stadiums on the water, and just like that. When you're out there in the middle of no man's land in the Four Corners, you find the footprints of stuff just like that. Yeah, talk about peeling your cap back. And we found this stuff, man. I found so much stuff. We found sundials carved into huge cliffs that people never even know exist, that are hidden in the Four Corners region. They know it's there. There's so much there. That's why they call it a national park, and they say you can't fly your drone in there. You can't do this. You can't do that. It's like, why not? Like, there's nothing out here. Like, why would you not want us to fly a drone? It's because they do not want you to see what they brush out in the satellite images and all the other stuff, which are massive structures. It's becoming more and more known. More and more people in this day and age of technology are figuring it out, and they're seeing it, they're discovering it. And I am one of them. And we went there several times, and it's there. An ancient civilization was right here in this country, right here. And it spanned from here out on our west down into Mexico vastly. And this is before even the Aztecs. In all this, you're talking pre-flood. And I got a couple spots in Mexico. I ain't gonna lie. I tell you. I mean, you don't know where. I got some hidden play. I got some gems I found. And I know of. But I tell you, I'm afraid to go because I don't want to put anybody's lives in jeopardy in terms of the cartels. I can dip just within 100 miles, a couple 100 miles within the border of Mexico, and I'll blow your mind with some stuff. Ancient places that they ain't got to tell you they found by LiDAR or nothing. We found them off Google Earth and satellite imagery and things like that. They're there. The same way we found these objects out west. They're there. And it just sucks that just to slip across the border to try to document it and show you. I can't even go. I go on and on and on about these details, man. Can't get there. So Mexico's like ruled out for now. Although I was thinking about going down and hollering at Jeff Berwick in Acapulco. He has, where is it? Where is he at? It's not Kankakee. It's Acapulco, I think. And Acapulco is where he has it. Yeah. That may be too difficult for some of you guys to get down to these places. So, all right, a beach in Florida. Second, Midwest is just taking it. I've gotten 225 votes. I appreciate all the feedback, guys. Let it sit out there for about 15 minutes or so. A couple more rolling in. Seemed after I started talking Vegas, it picked up some percentage, but it looks like the Midwest is taking the cake, man. I guess I'll, Susie Q says I'll do the Caribbean. I mean, hey, if you're going to get everybody together, why not, if you have to take time, to do all these things, and you only have so many options, so many windows, like, that's what I'm saying. Why not make the most of it? I have to. I haven't been nowhere in like years. Hey, we had the conference, but that was right in my home turf. Last time I went down to the beach, what was it? Was it lockdowns still? Tooge crew? We went down, they were still masking up. Remember, I got in an argument. They kicked me out of the store. Yeah, I ain't been down the beach in a minute. Long overdue. If I had it my way, that'd be where I'd be. But survival-wise, in this environment, mountains is where you're going to survive. So Florida would have to be my second home. I don't know, Vegas is closed in on Florida here, man. Just in the last couple seconds or minutes. Beach in Florida. Jump back up. I don't think either one of them are going to take the Midwest, though. It makes me want to start a different one. Well, actually, if I'm going to do the Midwest, I'm probably going to have to go with where I've had it all these times. It just makes it smooth, easy, secure. All them things that count. Cincinnati. It may be it. Again, northern Kentucky, basically. Beautiful view of Cincinnati. You look at your screen right now. See that beautiful shot right there on the water? Cincinnati lit up like that right there, like diamonds on the water. That's from Covington, northern Kentucky, and that's where I have the event. It's in the... Well, I'm not sure where it's going to be at the moment, but it'll be right there. one of the places, like I've had it before, if we're going to do it Midwest, it's what makes sense to me, unless something else comes up. But just keep that in mind. It's my top option there. Stockton, California there. Yo, man, I put out the chart, man. Vegas, out west, it's trying. It looks like a lot of people are really trying to get it up there. It looks like it's been climbing. Definitely isn't going to clip Midwest. I really hope that those of you that vote are looking forward to coming to whatever we put together here. I don't know what it's going to be. I'll have to marinate on this, may even run a couple more polls. For sure, Joe. For sure. And I want to give everybody enough time in advance before we do something. It'll be into 2025. I'm just throwing some things out there. Now that we know kind of the climate, what everything is where everything sits with this election, where we're at, it's time to look forward to 2025. And you gotta envision things. I've learned you have to speak them into existence. Literally. So, it all begins with a thought, with an idea. And, man, I'd love to see some of you guys, that's for sure. New video. You gotta, what the song? I see I've missed it, brother. I haven't even had a chance to catch anything. I gotta catch up on it for sure. I definitely want to hear everything. You have to email me a cut, and if I don't play it here, I'll definitely play it on the next one. So yeah, we got new music from Crown Jewels. I'll be playing on the next show for sure. Get that lined up, and at some point, I got to get back into dropping some music too. But I just got all these other things on my plate. So, I think I've talked enough. And it looks like I'm going to end the poll. Actually, I'm going to give you, anybody out there, I still got some votes rolling in here, man. I hate to shut it down. Jay from the Ville says, I'm coming as long as it's not real far. Well, this is for the people, you know? I do this for the people. And Midwest is taking it. So, brother, I don't think you're going to have to go too far. Just seems like it's the most convenient for most people. That's why it's worked out so far. Yeah, thank you to all the mods. Much love, says Q. Yeah, we've been aiming for... We brought up Vegas, and I brought it up for many different reasons. Everything I said here tonight, give the West Coast people a shot, but, I mean, it's all about who's tuning in and who wants to come and who's voting and giving feedback here. Apparently, it's Midwest. So, much love to all my Midwest cats. Again, I'll run some other polls between now and then, give you guys some other chances to voice your opinion. And then may even throw some different cities into the mix. You know. Midwest is kind of vast, but like I said, I've had it in Cincinnati so many times, that's where it works. That's probably where I'll have it this next time in Eon. You're legendary, man. God bless. Would love to see a bunch of you in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? Like, the world's not coming to an end, then we've got to be proactive. We've got to be, like, doing positive things, getting it in, man. You know, you're not promised tomorrow. That's all I know to do. You know what I'm going to do? Man. I feel like, just watching the votes go up here. Last second, it's still moving, still running. 276, 272, 276. How is it jumping? How's it doing that? How did it just do all that? That was weird. 277, 278. I guess once it stalls out here for just a second. For those that are curious, though, with these meetups, all I've known to do in the past is to pick a spot, and all I need to do is pick a spot close to home where I have buddies and people help me throw a show, or a conference, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing. It's a meeting of good minds, great minds, people that think alike, and it's I've come to really like it, just for the fact that I meet the good people that I can meet from it. If I got to go through, however many millions of people in this world to find good people, it's whatever, right? So just to meet people in the flesh is unique, and you don't get to do it all the time. A lot of people out there listening, like D. White in the chat. I've had a chance to meet D. White, Susie Q, Joe, Kev Bar, Tacos, Tooge. These are cats that I consider crew and part of the fam. It's because they came to a show and I met them and I got to shake their hand and hug them and know how real they are, how funny they are, in all the qualities of them, to feel their energy and their aura. And, it makes a big difference. Know someone's not a Fed or whatever, just good people. There's just hit 300 votes. Man, thank you guys. Getting it in there before we shut it down. It looks like the Midwest, man, is just holding it down. The beach in Florida just was not giving up in second place. So I'm going to go with those two. I'm going to go with the top two picks. It looks like from here on out, I'm just going to have to think long and hard on this one. I'll let you know what I come up with. We got some time. This is going to be going down next year. Yeah, as Tooch says, meetups are the best. So many great people. And I know it just works good where I've done it every time because it's worked good. It's worked every time. I'm welcomed back by the place that we hold it. Most of the people have been there. If they're going to come to another one, they're familiar with it. So it's got all that going. What one? I'm going to end it right now. I hate they're still piling in. I just feel like I got to let people get their voice on, I mean, I feel like as I'm saying that, more and more people are look, I just told you we hit 300, now we're at 314. So people got something to say. So 27 minutes ago, I'll at least let it go 3 more minutes. That'll give it a 30-minute poll. Then I'm cutting it. So, I really don't think much is going to change, though. Vegas, Sin City just wasn't getting the support. I know, Tooch. You hate to hear it. It doesn't rule it out, man. If I get a West calling, because I'm going to have to go back out there at some point here. We'll see what happens. Maybe you go out West and it's not a conference, but the conference looks like it's going to be in the Midwest. Man, 2 minutes left. Shut it down. So yeah, much love everybody out there. If you got any questions about any of it, take us out here. Awesome music. Get some shout outs here. Okay, much love to everybody. Thank you for joining. Dwayne checking in. Got to meet Dwayne in the flesh. Pixie Doodle. Yeah, man. Conference will happen in Wisconsin, Pac said. Hey, next poll, maybe I'll throw cities on there. So I'm ending the poll. Midwest took it 44%. There's the results, 43%. I'll keep that in mind until the next one. And just grab a handful of cities and pick those cities and throw them out there and see what we come up with. Right? Quantum, much love. Gabe, my Knights, Crown Jewels. I'll be showcasing his music into the next stream. His newest stuff. So make sure to join us. MC Dirty in the house. Get that passport, bro. I got my passport. You talking to the Crown. I'd love to see Crown. Anybody from out of the States can come in. Be even more of a blessing. You know, if that was to happen, if anyone, I try to make it like a 2-day event. Like, we're on the scene for a couple days in Cincinnati, but the show is like held 1 day. So like, there's like an extra day in there where we're just hanging out. Last time we shot a music video at the graveyard with Live One and the crew. So you never know what we're gonna do. We tried to have a march 1 year. It got rained out. You just never know what we're going to be getting into. So, much love, Pure Bloods. I love you guys. Signing off. God willing, I'll see you guys on Monday. Much love. God bless. Prayers for my brother, Booter. Much love.